I want to share some thoughts on suicide because it affects me, um, and probably no one on the planet knows. Like, I've never shared this before, and the only reason I'm sharing it now is because I'm 48, and I want my life to mean more than just the routine that I do, more than just being a dad to my daughter, or, you know, being a son to my mom. I mean, those things exist with just my routine. That's who I am, and those are a very small group of people that I impact for very common reasons. But what's not common is dealing with mental health issues. And I'll tell you, I have had to manage my mental health in regards to suicide since I was probably about 10 or 11. I've had suicidal thoughts. You know, I definitely know how I would commit suicide. I've dealt with it for a long enough period of time where I've considered the options. So I don't know if you'd say I have a plan. Well, I don't have a timeline to commit suicide. I don't have, and I avoid suicide, quite honestly. I work my way mentally out of suicide by having anchors. So I'll end with my little message about my anchors that keep me from committing suicide. And there's probably more aspects to my dealings with suicidal thoughts than is reasonable for this video. But maybe this will help you, and maybe you won't feel like nobody understands you or nobody has suicidal thoughts like you. And maybe I do. And maybe that is something that can provide you some hope or a connection between us that makes it a little less of a bite in your life, a little less of a sharp edge. So I have anchors, mental anchors, and that is my mom, thoughts of my mom, and the effects that my suicide would have on her. And also, the strongest anchors are my mom and my daughter, who is 5. You know, the effects would be, especially with a 5-year-old, the effects of that are so significant that, you know, kind of shows my own personal value in her life. So she is a very strong anchor. It used to be my wife, but you know, not wanting her to have to deal with that, and, you know, find me dead somewhere on our property or sitting in my car or wherever I would cash out. But since we're not in a relationship anymore, that anchor is gone for me. Like, I don't have my soon-to-be ex-wife is not my anchor anymore. So I've lost one of my 3 anchors. My grown kids are anchors to a very light extent. As they've grown older, you know, the impact of my suicide in my mind will not is a lot less than when they were kids. I realize they will miss having a dad. I'm not saying I'm going to commit suicide. I'm saying this is how I look at things. So the value of them as an anchor has gone down because they've grown up and they have better coping skills, and they're not reliant on me. They're all living on their own. So it's not like they see me every day. So their value as an anchor to prevent me from going through with suicide has gone down. So I would say that's probably not an anchor, although it's kind of a very slight whisper of an anchor for me. But mostly my mom and my daughter. So that's how I do it. So I think about the impact of how it would be, and the amount of sadness that action that I would take would create in their lives. And I talk myself out of it. And I've done this. My mom was my anchor from early on, from when this first started, when I was 10 or 11 years old. I'm guessing, but it was when I was a kid. She has been my anchor my entire life. Mentally. I don't call my mom. I've never called my mom and said, hey, I'm depressed, I'm suicidal, talk me down. I've never talked to my mom. She's an anchor internally. So she's always, you know, that impact, that negative impact on my mom, I don't know, in my mind, I don't know that my mom could survive. Like, I don't know that she could handle that. And she lives very well, lives very healthy. But I'm not sure that my mom could survive suicide of her son, me. So that is my number one anchor, and then my daughter is my number two anchor for the most part. It would be very heartbreaking for my 5-year-old, who is my buddy, my partner in activities almost every day. I think it would be very difficult for her to lose her dad. And so that's how I keep from coming through on a plan. So again, I don't know what the reaction to this video will be. I really didn't want to talk about it, but it is in line with the mission of this online content at the Scotty Evolving brand, or whatever you call it, channels. So I'm making myself do it on a day where it's very relevant, on a very down day, a very sad day, for no specific reason. I'm down. You know, it's just a tough day with dealing with processing the end of my marriage, and some other just real world challenges that I have right now. It's just a freaking down day. And so that's where checking out seems like a very good alternative to continuing on and having to deal with the challenges that I have. But again, I use my anchors and I carry through. So I have more that I'll be more specific about, but that's kind of the roundabout thing. But I do have some aspects that make suicidal thoughts scary, externally scary, and whatnot. So I don't know, this was a long video.